This is the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Let's go nuts! It's Jimmy Nuts! Drive out with a car!
With your hosts, Mark Martinez.
Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
And the English Professor.
It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke, the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
And welcome to another edition of the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Martinez, alongside the co-host, the guru, Mr. Chad Piranha. Chad, how are you?
Recovering.
Wait a minute.
Glad to be done with the coronavirus and everything like that. No, I did not have it, but
You look like you did last week.
I look like I did last week.
So, yeah, we're a wrestling podcast, but I have to throw some punches at Chad right off the bat. Last week, you hung around the studio for a little bit, and you played some MLB 20, and you instantly went home and bought it, and now you despise the game because after 3 seasons of Road to the Show, you are still lingering around in the minors and getting pissed off.
I can't. The game sucks. It cheats.
It does not cheat.
It cheats.
Well, I'll tell you mine then. Guys, we love this game. I've loved this game for years. I always play as my son. He wanted to be a third baseman this year. He was drafted by my favorite team, the Detroit Tigers. I played about a month with the Tigers, AA Erie, where I used to work. And then I'm traded because I was a bad influence or whatever. I picked the heart and soul the whole time.
Bad influence. You gotta be the prick.
So he then gets traded to Baltimore, which is Bowie, the Bay Sox. They're horrible. Erie goes around and wins the Eastern League Championship. I'm sitting in the bottom of the barrel thinking, all right, I'm crushing home runs faster than Bonds and Ruth combined, and I don't get out of the AA in 1 year. I make it to spring training the following year. I get 3 pinch hit at bats, Chad. 3 pinch hit at bats. Come the regular season, I'm like, I'm going to be in the minors. I look at it, I'm the starting third baseman for the Baltimore Orioles now. I don't know how this happens, what's going on. Yeah, I'm rated about a 78 right now, and it crushing. You, on the other hand, can't do a damn thing right.
I can act like a jerk and I get rewarded for it. I act like a good guy, get rewarded for it. I threw a 7-inning shutout last night. 9 strikeouts, 3 hits over 7 innings. They pulled me out and put me back in the bullpen.
So now you're in the bullpen.
So now I'm in the bullpen.
And you're only in AAA.
And I'm only in AAA.
And you've been traded twice.
3 times.
3 times. You started with the Angels. I knew you went to Cleveland, and I've lost the other 2.
God, I can't think. I think I was with the Baltimore, and
when Baltimore trades you, you're horrible.
Now I'm Indiana or something. I don't know where the hell I'm.
Oh, if you're in Indianapolis, you're with the Pirates.
I was so irritated. I was pegging batters. I was
arguing. That's why.
No, I didn't do that till after they traded me the 3rd time. So the first guy up, I pegged him.
You're pissed. Guys, we have some huge announcements. One I forgot last week with the English Professor about IWC, and then 2 more. If you notice the thumbnail, we might as well throw that right off because the thumbnail should tell you about what we're doing. We're bringing a tournament back. And the English Professor scraps his homework assignment pontification as we pick the coolest, how did we name it? The Can Crushers Coolest Gimmick Tournament. You'll hear the first round here in a little bit as we go through and pick them out of the hat like we normally do. And then Chad will get to talk about it afterwards. John and I give you our thoughts about what's going on in the tournament. Guys, that all starts tomorrow at 9 o'clock on our Facebook page. You know how they work. We've done them. We're bringing this one back, and it's fun. So you're excited a little bit. But
Yeah, I'm excited to get into this.
second, we'll bring up the IWC announcement, which I dropped last week. I forgot to say it because we were just into everything. Between myself, Justin Plummer, and Jenny Plummer, we have schemed something up that on October 10th, 2020, it is their Unbreakable pay-per-view. Okay? What do you think? Anything? We're going to be in the match. You have any thoughts?
I'm hoping we're in the match.
We are not in the match.
I mean, if they
God
can,
forbid
if they
we're
can
not in
have
the match.
who's the toilet paper guy? He's so insignificant. I forgot. Oh, Elijah Dean.
Okay.
I mean, if he's in wrestling, why can't we be?
Right. All right. No, we are going to host the after party. We are going to host the after party at the Carriage Inn.
Nice.
Right? Which then leads me to my next announcement. We're going to be doing a lot more with this channel of social media as well, but we have unleashed a YouTube page now. Do you get the idea of the after party with our YouTube page and working with IWC? So there's going to be some behind the scene things going on. We have months to decide what our shtick is going to be for the after party, but I can pretty much guarantee it that it will be up on our YouTube page streaming live.
And for the fans of IWC that go and everything like that, we're gonna have a contest.
We're coming up with something right now.
We're gonna have a contest. It's gonna be a toilet paper mache statue of Elijah Dean. Whoever has the best one will think up some kind of prize.
That's a great idea. For the love of God, that's a great idea. We need to stick with this. Somebody write this down. Toilet paper man
Statue. Yep.
God, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. Did you just think of that right now because you had no
Yes,
clue?
I did. I every so often I can think of something good off the top of my head.
But we also might bring to the mix maybe a trivia night about wrestling in general, maybe IWC, maybe a sing-along. I mean, there is so many options going through my head right now, and the Plumbers have opened it up saying, you jackasses have been around for 7 years now. Go with it. Have fun with it. So you'll see them promoting it here in the next couple months. And they said go ahead and announce it. So October 10th at the Carriage Inn, following Unbreakable, we'll be there doing some nonsense.
We'll figure something out to do
Yeah.
that doesn't land us in jail, hopefully.
But the toilet paper man dime is a must. Maybe we'll get some autographs together. Definitely throw in a shirt. I might have a koozie. I can order all this shit again by then. But we'll definitely figure something out. This is a brilliant idea, and hopefully all the Can Crushers will be able to make that this way. I don't have to be the only social media guy down there dicking around. You and the English professor can do something. Soup will be there drinking beer. Maybe we can bring up the Rated X Superstar to probably hit on women. I don't know what he's going to do, but
Yeah.
Pat will do something.
They'll figure something out.
Paulie, come back. I just want to make this blow it up.
John will be sitting there,
Criticizing everybody.
going over. He'll have his harem out in front of him, going over the proper use of the English language. I think his first one should probably be like Jock Sampson and Chris LaRusso should be his main students on that, but
All right, Chad. So let's dive into wrestling a little bit this week. Raw and SmackDown were Raw and SmackDown. I mean, they put some stuff on, but there's nothing noteworthy. There's really nothing noteworthy.
it's just
Well, we have another announcement at the end of the show about what we're doing next week. So make sure you listen because this is something we've wanted to do for a while. But teaser, it comes after you hear about the tournament. Go ahead. Sorry.
with without the audience and that, it's just not. It's not good. You know, I have to say, AEW put WWE to shame with the way they did it, and honestly, with the way AEW did it, I think this is the way wrestling should be shot. I don't need to see every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the audience. Have the focus on the ring and on the wrestlers. The people can still see,
Right.
but we don't need to have them as the focus. And I think this could be a learning thing for everybody.
Yeah. All right, so Raw real quick. Edge comes out, talks about Orton. They've had to battle for 9 years. Nah. Becky Lynch drives a semi in. Does that get you wanting to watch it? No. They showed the entire Rumble match. That's an hour and 15 minutes. I saw the entire Rumble match at Royal Rumble. I tuned out.
It's just a filler. All it is, just a time filler.
The only thing, and I'm not saying this was even good, was the Undertaker, AJ, Gallows, Anderson thing that brought anything to meat.
Yeah, that was the only thing that I cared for, and even then again, without the audience reaction, stuff like that, it just not the same. It's like almost like the people are just screwing around at a high level.
And they brought Stone Cold out, and Stone Cold did his shtick. Stone Cold without an audience is not Stone Cold.
No. One thing, side note off of this, something that we got to watch out for the WrestleMania is Brock Lesnar may not be allowed back in the country.
I did. That was
tape.
That was posted Saturday, I think. I put that up.
And it's like interesting because they're not going to have him lose to Drew McIntyre not in front of an audience. I think they're going to push that and a couple of the more high-profile matches off until they can get in front of an audience. I think they're going to do something different. They're not going to have Brock lose with no audience, but they don't even know if they're going to be able to get him back in country.
Yeah, I've also read that, breaking news, guys, that WrestleMania is now, WrestleMania with air quotes, let's say that, is now 2 days. It is Saturday and Sunday, beginning of April. 5 or 6 matches a night so far are on the line, and like you said, they just have Brock not show up and say, this is the way, I'm not going to do it. I was going down that same path as you. What do you do?
Yeah. What I think is funny is a lot of people, WWE mostly, were laughing at the NWA and how they were doing their weekly shows, the power shows. Oh, they only have 100 people in the audience and everything like that, and it doesn't have the big arena feel. Well, guess what? Who's looking good now for the way they were doing things, and who's losing millions upon millions of dollars? Ticket sales, lost deposits with venues, everything like that.
Well, I want to jump over to NWA about this here in a second, but let's cover. I watched SmackDown literally 15 minutes ago. It took me 15 minutes to watch this. Bradley Ruthers put this up Friday night that he turned SmackDown on. He saw Gronk come out to the ring, and he turned SmackDown off. I should have listened to him. He put it up on Facebook. I should have listened to him because I don't want to say that was the best thing on SmackDown. It wasn't the only thing on SmackDown because SmackDown was hot garbage.
Yeah.
Hot,
steaming
pile of shit.
Yep.
Gronk comes out. He does his shtick. It sets up a match between Elias and Corbin at WrestleMania, or whatever we're calling this year. We do have a couple matches. Daniel and Gulak take on Shinsuke and Cesaro. Team Yes wins, but it sets up a match for next week. If Gulak defeats Shinsuke, Daniel gets a title shot at Sami Zayn at WrestleMania for the IC title. Okay, we need to further something along. I don't know, 5 matches each night on WrestleMania weekend. 5 matches. I don't want them all to be hour matches. So I don't want to watch 5 hours of nothing. So they have to throw in, and I'm not calling Daniel Bryan a filler match, but this is a filler match.
Yeah, at this point.
But Daniel and Sami Zayn have gone before.
Yeah, this could be
the match of the year.
if they really
WrestleMania.
let them.
Of WrestleMania, not the year.
I'm just, I hate to be the downer. No audience. I'm not really.
You're just not into it.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not into it. I would get more entertainment and look forward more to going back and watching an old Starrcade or something like that instead of WrestleMania.
Pump your roll, no teasers.
Just that was a teaser.
So Paige is pumped up that she's going to be here. She's going to be here. I'm excited. All right, Paige is going to be here. Paige was not there, and this was taped. This was horribly taped. Again, another one of these, we're going to try to sell it that she's via satellite. Paige announces that Bayley has to take on Dana, Lacey, Tamina, Naomi, and then the twist is Sasha in her WrestleMania match. Sasha kind of gets a look in her face, and Bayley leaves. The title's not going to change hands at WrestleMania. I will put something on it. It's not going to change hands at WrestleMania, but this is going to lead up to the Sasha Bayley battle that we've been clamoring for a while. They did it in NXT once, and it stole the freaking show at TakeOver.
Yeah, it was one of the best matches in that NXT's ever had. I'd say top 5 matches.
Then they show Bray and Cena from WrestleMania 30. I could give a crap.
Back on the women's angle, did you see Sasha's outfit?
Yo, what the hell?
That's a thought that I had in mind.
What the hell?
Yeah, the whole leopard thing looks like it got ate out of the ass end or something.
Wrong wording.
Looks like something took a chunk out of her.
Okay, that's better.
Butt cheek, but that was different.
I did laugh at the Miz and Morrison dirt sheet. Them being the New Day, the Usos, and Heavy Machinery, they're funny.
Yeah.
But I could have given a crap about the match. Because the match did nothing for that. It finally carried over Otis snapping and running after Dolph. That's it.
Yeah, there's no excitement with the wrestlers or anything like that, with any of the storylines and that.
And then Goldberg confronts Roman. They sign. They're ready for WrestleMania. All right, let's switch over to NWA, as this might be a shorter show because that's it. I did watch Impact a little bit though this week before we get to NWA. Not bad, not horrible. I've given it a chance. No OVW on Tuesday nights, no NWA on Tuesday nights. So I still like Kiera Hogan. I'm telling you, from WrestleCade, my favorite match was Kiera Hogan against Tasha Steelz, and Kiera's still working like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, it was a good match. I've seen seen reviews and clips of it. She's got the factor going. She's got the id factor going.
The thing I'm going to say about Impact is, yep, they're definitely taped weeks in advance because no mention of anything going on about what's going on in wrestling. They were still actually promoting their
28th
next
show.
weekend. Yeah, actually this coming Saturday night show, whatever, still promoting it. And I'm like, it's been canceled, guys. It's been canceled.
This is like the editing that went on back over the summer where they didn't take Cornette's chicken joke out and aired it.
Yeah.
And then bitched about it afterwards. They should have edited that out.
And then Ken Shamrock's going to be in the Impact Hall of Fame. Shamrock still looks good. No?
I don't think so. He's not picking on the man's, obviously, for his age. He's in tremendous shape.
He'd kick
and
your
everything
ass.
Still, he'd kick my ass, which doesn't say a lot because my 5-year-old does that at times. He's just looking like a dried prune.
Dried prune. All right, let's roll along to NWA as guys. We get to speak with somebody really cool this coming week, an NWA official. I usually don't announce these beforehand, but this one's pretty cool. NWA official Jared Fritz will be coming on Can Crushers, so we get to pick his mind about what's going on. I have a ton of questions about everything NWA, as they're off until June. But I think they did the right thing this week. They had their Super Show, which was going to lead into the Crockett Cup, leading us to where we want to be, announcing more teams, 2-hour show, and they pulled it back because they don't want people to think, hey, we're still going to go on with this.
Yeah. They're, how do you put it? They're begrudgingly pulling things back. This is just causing a lot of issues with them, as with everybody. But they're playing it smart with what they're televising and everything like that. Another thing with NWA, did you see the interview with Nick Aldis?
When was this? No.
It was this week. They had a actual, he's in, I'm thinking it's his apartment or something like that, and he talks about everything going on about the Crockett Cup, worldly events, everything that's going on. That this man is legitimately, if he's not the best in the business, he is in the talk for being the best in the business.
Oh, I agree. The way he carries himself, he's Ric Flair. The way he speaks, he's Ric Flair, Savage, not as hyped, but I mean, you know, he speaks well. Roddy Piper, maybe, and he's building a business of NWA. Like, he is, I hate to say this, but it's in my head right now. He's all in for NWA to take over the world, and he's got NWA on his back. There's others that are helping carry the promotion along as well, but you think of NWA right now, if you don't think of Nick Aldis, you're not thinking of the NWA that we're thinking of now.
Yeah, he's definitely the cornerstone. And regardless of what you know, a lot of people go back to his time in TNA and Impact and everything like that. That's mismanaged. The bottom line is, you know, what's one person's garbage is another person's, money. And Nick, you can make a superstar out of somebody that has the factor, and that is
Hollywood blonde, Stone Cold.
Yeah, that was a drop by WCW. I mean, it's been proved time and time again. A little bit harder nowadays with the loss of kayfabe, no territories, stuff like that. But Nick he's rebounded, and he is the complete package for a champion. You want a wrestling match, give you a wrestling match. You want a brawl, he'll give you a brawl. You want, interviews, he doesn't rant and rave. And it's just like you're waiting for him to just go monkey nuts, and he doesn't. He gets his point, he gets it across, and he just irritates the shit out of you because he's so calm about it and everything. And that's what I like about him.
That's exactly what I like about him as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to Jared to see what he'll maybe let us in on about, are they going to bring Crockett Cup back? Where did he get his start? So on and so forth like that. Maybe he can't tell us much. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Be curious to see what and when I say this, it's not meaning to be demeaning or anything, but what information he has at the referee level, what he can tell us what's going on from his level versus, being the champ or being, one of the owners or something like that.
And then we'll switch over now to AEW, and I saved AEW for last this week because we probably have a lot to talk about. I think they did their show to the best of their ability this week with what's going on.
To the best that it could be done.
Right.
Period. They shamed WWE. And, we talked about this offline. this may be a foreshadowing, or it should be a foreshadowing to how shows should be done. Focus on the ring. Maybe be able to see with good detail the first couple of rows of fans when it gets back to that. But put the focus on the ring. That's what they did, years ago. In Madison Square Garden, the Omni and stuff like that. The lighting was on the ring. You've seen a little bit of the fans. But it wasn't, there's, a fan up in the nosebleed seats with a Ziggler sucks sign or something like that. Put the focus on the guys in the ring.
Yeah, that's what I'm watching it for.
They put to shame the other shows. This show, I actually sat and watched the entire show.
Yeah, I did, and I loved it. Cody comes out, and it's dark. Like, you don't see the seats. You only see Cody in the ring. And he's talking about the pandemic that we're going through right now and how things are going to change and how they're going to try to adapt. And then he welcomes out Matt and Kenny and Hangman, and they're just talking, trying to still build up blood and guts. But he also says, we don't know when blood and guts is going to happen. Before we get into the matches, did you guys see that it didn't say next week on when things are going to happen? It didn't say, hey, me and you are going to fight in a ladder cage match with dog collars around our necks. It said next Dynamite, because they're unsure if that set that they were at is going to be open for next week or if they're allowed to do it. So they're still going to do storylines however they can to keep things going, and it worked. It worked wholeheartedly.
Yeah. I was upset that they had to interrupt Page's. He was getting a drink. He wasn't ready yet. I think he was caught off guard. But yeah, the way they shot it, and Cody's just got, God bless the American dream. He's got his dad's gift for gab and way to put things so people understand them and don't, panic or whatever. He's not, I don't know what the hell we're going to do. We're just going to throw stuff together. No, he was nice and calm about it. He said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do everything we can. And when it gets back to normal, we're going to hit it out of the park. Well, they pretty much...
They did.
They did.
Great use of MJF this week. And you snicker.
Such a dick.
He is such a dick. He does not need to wrestle. I love that maybe once a match or once every other match, him and Sean Spears and Telly and then Jake Roberts and Archer, they're betting on matches. Wardlow's just sitting there being the man. They're just betting on matches. Even that shows the storyline that he's a giant douche.
Yeah, no, he is, but he's... The dude's funny. I hate him just because it's funny, but
you hate him to love him.
Yeah, you've got to. If you don't have Twitter, just make up a fake account or something.
Just to follow him.
Just follow him
and
the stuff that he
and
says. And us, of course. But some of the stuff that he says and everything like that, the dude is classic, and people hate on him because he does it all the time. He is doing it old school.
He is.
You're not... that's what ruins somebody's... I don't want to say gimmick, but that's what ruins them is, they're such a dick in front of the camera, and then they're, hugging kids and kissing babies.
He's flipping
on the side.
Off.
He's flipping kids off. And he's like, screw the kids and, stuff like that. And he's making remarks about everything. Old school heel.
Yeah. I don't know if he's trying to spearhead the whole kayfabe, bringing it back. It would be a hell of a sell to do that, but I believe it. I believe he truly is a dick.
Yeah, kayfabe is always going to be, it's dead, it's buried, but he's bringing it. It's like
it's enough.
It's like for him, you're like thinking, this dude's really a dick.
Yeah.
And you want to see him get his ass kicked. But just when it comes to that point,
He's so much better.
he pulls something out, like in his match with Cody. He's begging, he's bloody, he's getting his ass kicked. He gets up, stands Cody, it looks like he's crying, and then he lifts his head up and spits in Cody's face. Dick move. But
Did
he
you
did it right.
Did you see? And again, guys with the graphics on AEW, I love you. I'm a nerd. I read every graphic. Brandy Rhodes is never going to announce again, but she has to tonight. Did you see her face then? She kind of just shrugged because she knew the graphic was going to be up there. Well played, AEW. The graphics. You get the Lucha Bros against the Best Friends. Orange Cassidy is sleeping everywhere. You hate him, but he's carrying it along.
He's a little bit better. I'm just the gimmick is
Laziness.
is running. You know what? Like Jim Ross said, what the king of sloth style. And Jim Ross, what the hell is that shit? I'm like, oh Lord, okay.
It sets up for a Best Friends against the Lucha Brothers. Maybe all three of them. They're gonna have a parking lot brawl. Cool. That's the old school.
Yeah, but is this gonna fall in the social distancing thing? Are they gonna have to be? If they pull a match off like Joey Janela and that idiot did the other night, the social distancing where they wrestled 6 feet apart.
I did not see that.
You've got to look that up. It is one of the stupidest things. It's right along with the rolling hand grenade and the invisible guy.
Oh. Penelope Ford, Riho, Statlander, and Sheeta. I don't know.
It is.
Did you see? I'll pause there in a minute. Did you see after Cody gives out his phone number for everybody to text him, tweet him, whatever? I did. I'm experimenting to see. It is, of course, computer generated. You're not texting Cody. You're texting, something like that. But he sends you stuff. He sends you pictures of his dog. He sends you pictures of him working out. This has clearly been something that has been in the work for a while. To have that many people, I instantly did it, Chad. Instantly did it, of course. Now Cody Rhodes will not stop texting me, though. But you're getting stuff from, that's you. You're getting stuff from him behind the scenes. That's cool. Is my stuff going back to him? I don't know.
I'm gonna bet he's seeing.
He's gonna have millions to read through.
He's probably seen a lot of this stuff, and it's just like anybody else. They'll see some lucky guys will get replied back to. I had Billy Corrigan reply back to one of my tweets about the Crockett Cup when it was still on, that I put on. I've had the one podcast is following me on Twitter right now. Damn it! Give me a
Dark
second
Match?
here. Talk. No, the Booking the Territories is following me now.
Nothing like promoting other podcasts than ours, Chad. Good job.
Well,
No, I'm kidding. I get along with all of them. I actually talked to some of them. So Ringside Podcast in Louisville, I know Daniel Spencer real well. I've talked to the guys at Dark Match. By the way, pause for a minute here. The Dark Match Podcast guys kind of on a little bit of hiatus as one of them are sick. So, guys, however you want to do this is me. Don't throw hate at the other guys on our podcast, but thoughts and prayers are out to them because he's quarantining himself for 14 days. Yeah. He's not sure, but he's just, hey, we're taking a break from Dark Match, and shout out to them. Get well, and let's collaborate together because I think it would be great. We have some of the same people on sometimes, and they cover IWC as well, but they're great guys. Let's just hope everything works out for you guys.
On a much lighter note, you're talking about workouts, Cody sending you stuff now. Have you seen Camille's pictures from her workout?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Camille. Back to AEW. What else? Oh, two big people show up on AEW. Two big people show up on AEW. And the Dark Order, Chad, he cannot reach his back far enough. The Dark Order announces that their leader is there, and it is Brody.
The Exalted one. Get it right.
One, whatever. The leader. And it's Brody Lee. we had this probably
this
pinned
was-
for a while.
Yeah.
We figured that out. The second one is Team Elite is down a member right now because one of the Jacksons are out. I didn't see Matt Hardy being the next guy. So that was a bit of a shocker.
That was a throw. That definitely threw me off when it was him. I figured they were going to pull somebody different, but then Hardy, and it's like they're still recognizing that he has some left for the ring by bringing him right into the freaking mix right off the bat.
And I think, one, he'll carry his fans over. That's huge. Two, I think he does have stuff left in the ring on this week-to-week basis instead of 7 days a week, twice on Sundays, WWE live shows. I mean, the guy's around our age. He's up there in wrestling years, so I think it only expands his wrestling career. Look at Dustin. For the love of God, we've talked to Dustin at WrestleCrate. He said this is what has expanded his career.
Yeah, they're out of, like Dustin said, he felt like he was in a prison before, and he was just going through the motions, and it was killing his love for wrestling. And now, he just absolutely loves it. You can see it in his promos. You can see it in his matches. Geez, you watch some of these older things with him. I watched a tag team match where he brought in Ricky Steamboat as his surprise partner against Larry Zbyszko and Arn Anderson for the NWA tag titles. Dustin looks, minus the aging body-wise, he looks just as good in the ring now as he did before.
Yeah, he really does. All right, one more thing from each of us on AEW. You can go first because mine's funny.
Well, mine's kind of sad. It's, this was a first week in a long time that I didn't see this. The Bunny was not on AEW. I was pretty disappointed. It hurt. She needed to be on there.
I agree. I would agree with you. And funny-wise, I have the man crush on Sammy G. You know that. I love Sammy Guevara. He was the one to spearhead everybody singing Fozzy and Judas and everything. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, did he butcher that. He sounded like me in the kitchen doing dishes. He sucked during this song this week.
It was so on purpose. And did you see Jericho's
Dying.
a couple of times that they caught him? Jericho's trying not to fall on the floor.
Yeah.
Laughing. Guevara's just one of these guys. He's a step above, like what I say the Miz is, because I hate the Miz. I just don't like anything about him except for his wife is pretty.
The Miz, so you watch The Miz and Mrs.?
Occasionally.
My wife
I
loves that.
haven't done it lately, but that's the only thing good with him is Guevara is just one of those guys you love to frickin' hate.
And that's why I have a man
And
crush
he's
on him.
Funny, but he is funny. I can't wait to the day that he's sticking his tongue out and somebody belts him in the jaw or something like that. But
And he did nothing but sing that song, but he remains relevant.
I'm gonna hate to say this, and this is a really big compliment to him. He reminds me of a very young Eddie Guerrero.
Nice.
In his body language, in his humor, in the stupid stuff that he does, but in the serious stuff, in, the take home, the wrestling part of it.
Yeah.
He reminds me a lot of Guerrero. And if you look back, Guerrero was... He was an ugly dude to look at when he was first in wrestling. I mean, he had the Billy Ray Cyrus mullet times 2. He was tiny, but he just had the gift for gab and doing the shit that got under people's nerves.
Speaking about doing stuff to get under people's nerves, the English professor is biting at the bit to get on the show to bring on the coolest wrestling tournament that we're going to do. You'll hear us break it down here in a minute. But before we do that, we have to tell you about Collar and Elbow.
Collar and Elbow? Who are they?
They make some sweet-ass shirts, and they brought out their new spring line.
Five shirts?
I think it was 5. 4 or 5, yeah. And the designs are great. Get on collarandelbow.com because we won't do justice to what they look like. They're awesome.
And just remember, with these shirts and that, people, they're not like just regular T-shirts. Obviously, we've talked about the comfort and everything. But if you're, a female that likes the sculptured shirts or whatever, they have those. They have regular shirts.
Hats, hoodies, tees.
Everything you want. So there's something out there for everybody.
Yeah, they have old school look, they have new school look, and the comfort. Again, Al and Chad have said, can you say something besides comfort? No, because that's the selling point. The selling point is the comfort. I wear a freaking collar and elbow shirt every day. I have 500 T-shirts. I wear the same 5. It's unbelievable. My wife is like, I'm washing the stitching out of this. And that's a lie because you can on these shirts.
No, they're excellent quality. Sorry for the comfort thing, but they are comfortable. As a hunter, I've paid $70, $80 for shirts and stuff like that. So I'm comfortable when I'm out in the woods, when I'm up in the deer stand. These things are as comfortable, if not more comfortable, than anything I've had, and at a fraction of the price.
And you can get more of a price reduction if you use our promo code Can Crushers. Chad, what do we do with that code?
Type it in. Go to their website in our order. Type in Can Crushers.
Capital C and Can.
Capital C's, yes. See, you're screwing me up now.
I know. I twisted up to see if you know this whole shtick by now. You do better. You're getting better.
Well, it's old age.
It is old age. All right, let's go to Al, and then I'll come back with the English professor to break down the new tournament, the Can Crusher Coolest Wrestling Gimmick Tournament, and then Chad and I will be back to wrap this up and tell you one more huge announcement.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. 2 entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
What's up, guys? This is Jared Fritz, official for the NWA, and you're getting Ref Fit with the Can Crushers podcast.
And welcome back to Can Crushers. I have the English professor on the show. He's called a day early, so yes, folks, this is pre-recorded and set to go. But what do you have going on that you're calling me?
It's been a while since the Can Crushers Nation has enjoyed a tournament. So I think it's about time we had another tournament. We've had some fun ones. And one in which we had the most fun was the worst gimmick tournament?
Yes.
So I started thinking, wrestling is all about gimmicks. I want to celebrate those wrestlers who took something that could have been a bomb or was at the very least a little quirky and made something pretty damn cool out of it. So this is the coolest gimmick tournament.
So the Can Crushers Coolest Gimmick Tournament.
That's a perfect name for it.
Okay. We'll botch that, or I will botch that 32 times, I'm sure.
One for each wrestler.
One for each wrestler. All right, so we have the brackets printed out. We have the people in the hat as we normally do. I'll pull them, and you'll mark out over the matches that we're going to have.
I can't wait.
All right, here we go. Number 1 and number 2. This is the first match. Jake the Snake Roberts.
Wow, right off the bat. Jake the Snake Roberts, what a cool gimmick, right, guys? Very cerebral promos. One of the first guys to not scream and holler. Very subdued. Carried a snake in a bag. Variety of snakes. One of them bit the Macho Man. Definitely one of the coolest gimmicks ever. Mark, Whom will he face in round 1, match 1?
Our good friend Al Snow.
Wow. Al Snow. A guy who brought a mannequin head to the ring that was named Head. That got over like crazy, didn't it, Mark?
It's still being over like crazy. He's running OVW with Al.
So that ought to be a good match. I'm torn because I know Al's your buddy, but boy, was Jake one of my favorites when I was a kid.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why Can Crusher Nation's going to have to decide this. I'm already stoked with the first match.
It's your responsibility, Can Crusher Nation.
All right, match number 2, pulled out of the hat, is Gold Dust.
Dustin Rhodes. Boy, this was – I remember when Gold Dust was announced. He hadn't appeared yet. It was, I think, at a pay-per-view or a TV taping or something. Howard Finkel says, "Introducing Gold Dust." And that's all it was. You know, we didn't know who he was. But I remember saying to you, I was at your house, you said, "That is Dustin Rhodes. I guarantee it'll be Dustin Rhodes." And it was. And it was so blatantly, obviously Dustin Rhodes. But he made the most out of that. And to a certain extent has carried that with him into AEW, that same kind of persona and look.
Yeah, and we saw Dustin at WrestleCade, and he said more of the original Gold Dust could be coming back. Not the gold form, but this red and black what you have, so a little demonic.
I look forward. And, you know, we'll see several more people in this tournament. It doesn't matter what their real names are or what other personalities or characters they portrayed. The name they have in this tournament is, for the most part, how they're remembered.
Yeah, for sure. Gold Dust is going to be taking on Ric Flair.
Oh, man, that's another tough match. I don't know who gets my vote. I'm the Nature Boy. What can you say? He took something that existed a generation before and just raised it to the nth degree. Of course, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, first NWA and WWF World Heavyweight Champion, Nature Boy Ric Flair, second man to hold both of those belts. We can go on for days about Ric Flair. Needs no further explanation. Goldust and Ric Flair, incredible. And by the way, Goldust does the best Ric Flair impression I've ever seen. Better than mine.
He does. He really does.
Yep.
Third match, the Russian Nightmare, Nikita Koloff.
Nice. Nikita Koloff. Who knew? I thought he was the real deal. That guy was committed. There's a story Arn Anderson tells where he wouldn't relax. Even on the plane with nothing but wrestlers, he wouldn't relax and just let it go. Even Ric Flair says he'd work out at the gym, and Nikita would make sure not to talk to anybody because his English is supposed to be great, and he doesn't really speak Russian, so he would just grunt.
Grunts. Yep. Grunts all the time. He's going to be taking on Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
Dad. Holy cow. Another situation, Kevin Nash hit this one out of the park. You could see his coolness factor in WCW. They weren't quite sure what to do with him. They tried a few things. Nothing really stuck. Vinny Vegas had the potential to be one of the coolest things. Showed up in WWF as Shawn Michaels' bodyguard. And Diesel was Vinny Vegas, once again, just taken to the nth degree. Very cool. Very cool guy. Big Daddy Cool.
Big Daddy Cool, yeah. He's going to be taking on, John, this is one of my sleepers, one of my favorites. No.
Well, no, Vinny, yeah. Nikita Koloff against Diesel. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm getting excited already. Match number 4, pulled out of the hat. One of my underdogs yet favorites in this, from Monrovia, the question mark.
Wow. This was probably meant to be as a joke. Guys, NWA is kind of on hiatus right now, right, Mark?
Yeah, until June.
Yeah. That's a darn shame because it's probably my favorite promotion going right now. The question mark, I don't know what the deal was. If this was meant to be a joke or something, this has caught on like crazy. This guy is a lot of fun. That chop does look devastating. All kidding aside, the guy's a decent worker. He's committed to what he's doing. His matches are fun to watch, whether he wins or loses.
Yeah, I agree. And he's going to be taking on the Big Boss Man.
Big Boss Man. I guess he was a corrections officer in real life. And this is part of the genius of Vince McMahon, too, whether we love him or hate him. He taps into who people really are outside of the business and, plays off of that a little bit. So Big Boss Man, it was Big Bubba Rogers. Again, fun character in WCW as a bodyguard. Came over to WWF and was a corrections officer and played off of that. Handcuffed guys, beat them with the ball and chain, beat them with the nightstick. Brutal cop.
If all goes well, John, both on different sides of the bracket, it could be Al Snow against Big Boss Man in another kennel match in the finals.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. They got to keep winning their matches, though.
They do. In the fifth match, a man that caused nightmares as a child to me, Kamala.
Literally caused me nightmares as well. That is not an exaggeration in the least. I used to dream about him kicking open my door and coming after me. True story. I had a dream about him when I was in college, too. And then we finally were face to face. Like, same deal. He was kicking open my fraternity house door, coming to get me. We finally were face to face, and we both started laughing. And he was like, not to the extent, he didn't say like, this is a gimmick, but he was just like, I'm just playing or something like that. And we were friends after that. Kamala. I believe Jerry the King Lawler is responsible for Kamala, according to shoots I've seen with Mr. Harris.
Taking on your favorite in this tournament, Razor Ramon.
Needs no introduction. Yeah, Razor Ramon. I told Scott Hall this when I met him. I was a huge wrestling fan, and I was a huge Al Pacino fan. 15, 16 years old, and here comes a guy who's a wrestler who's portraying an Al Pacino character. Cuban gangster, drug lord, kind of hinted, but never really said outright. This, again, had the potential to be corny. Here he is showing up as the Diamond Stud. Same look, different name. Guy got over like crazy. Another guy, maybe not on par with Ric Flair, but we can go on for days about Razor Ramon. Nothing more need be said, though.
Yeah, Scott Hall in the AWA was one of my favorites in the AWA before it became all those gimmicks.
Yeah.
In match number 6, we're going back a little bit. Adrian Street.
Love this guy. Underappreciated. I hope he goes far in this tournament. Obviously doesn't have the name recognition that a Razor Ramon or a Goldust has. This guy said he dealt with homophobic slurs, and he just decided, okay, if that's what you want to call me, that's what I'm going to do. Not unlike, in IWC. The guy who uses chairs now, and he's collecting belts and beats people over the head with chairs, and the referee never hears it.
Dylan
Who sucks
Bostic.
now?
Dylan Bostic.
Bostic. He said, okay, Justin Bieber, that's what you guys want. That's what I'm doing. And that's what Adrian Street did. You guys want to call me all these horrible names? Fine, we'll go that route. And he went for the glam look. He was all dolled up. Guess the guy's a legit fighter, too, and can really whip some ass. And he could probably, all those fans that were calling him bad names, he probably could have twisted them and stretched them all he wanted. So, badass gimmick. The guy wore a lot of makeup, kind of dressed like a girl, and then got in the ring and beat the crap out of people.
He's going to be taking on the longest reigning IC champion ever, the Honky Tonk Man.
Oh, my God. I don't mean any disrespect. Honky Tonk Man is way cool. An Elvis impersonator. Again, that had the potential to bomb. Honky Tonk Man did a great job with that. One of the greatest heels. Really knew how to work a crowd. One of the first heels that I could remember that didn't tell fans how stupid they were or ugly or fat or whatever. Told them how beautiful they were, how much he loved them, how much he appreciated them. Brilliant work. Yeesh, though. I think Adrian Street is just going to twist him into a pretzel.
Moving along to match number 7. Speaking about heels, probably one of the best in the business from Iran, the Iron Sheik.
Yeah, it's hard to top the Iron Sheik's villainy. You know, Mark, you and I have had this discussion. We saw him as the Sultan's manager in a match no one cared to see. PJ Walker, the Cuban ostrich, whatever the hell his goddamn name was.
Aldo Montoya.
The Portuguese man of war, Montoya, against the Sultan. And nobody gave a shit. Pardon my language. And Sheik was just like, you shut up and don't say you. And people just went bananas. They lost their shit on him, got the crowd warmed up. Match was a minute and a half, and then we were ready for whatever. Stone Cold, Bret Hart, everybody else. Sheik is amazing. I've seen him live as a kid wrestling, and incredible heel, incredible villain.
At WrestleMania 1, you saw him.
Yes, and even before that.
Taking on another one of your favorites in this tournament, Eli Drake.
No! Oh, no! I don't know what to do. Eli Drake is in the NWA, one half of the World Tag Team Champions currently. He has been compared to, and this is not an exaggeration, a combination of The Rock and Stone Cold. And I see it, and I believe it. The guy has got the gift of gab, terrific worker in the ring, gets the crowd excited. I love Eli Drake. Let me talk to you.
In match number 8, you can talk as much as you want, but this guy's going to be dancing around HBK.
Oh, jeez.
Not a fan.
Yeah, not a fan. Never was a fan. Guy's incredible. The guy is really incredible. His body of work speaks for itself. I will put him on par with Ric Flair. His mic work, his in-ring work, his opponents run the gamut of a who's who. He really is amazing. I still haven't gotten over Montreal. That's my problem.
Taking on the real American Hulk Hogan.
Oh, wow. This is a SummerSlam rematch in which Shawn Michaels acted like a total douche and oversold everything just to make Hulk Hogan look stupid. Wow. What can you say about the Hulkster, right? AWA, he was willing to carry that load. He had the opportunity to turn that promotion into the juggernaut that the WWF later was. Vince McMahon was really on to something, though, with the Hulkster. That tandem changed everything because, you know, people say Hulk Hogan's a politician. Aren't they all? You know, Bob Backlund, I'm not dropping it to this guy because he wasn't an amateur wrestler, and Nick Bockwinkel, I'm not saying Nick Bockwinkel's thinking was such, but Vern Gagne certainly was. You have to have the belt on a wrestler. You kind of don't. You kind of need to have it on someone that fans will pay money to see, and the Hulkster was that guy.
They better strengthen the ring up for match number 9, as it is the one-man gang.
Wow, one-man gang. Akeem was one of the dumbest things ever, and to this day, I am still annoyed that it was the Big Boss Man and Akeem as a tag team, because how much sense would it have made to have the Big Boss Man and the one-man gang? Not to get off subject here, but you have a crooked police officer and a gangbanger. It's perfect.
It is.
But anyway, yeah, one-man gang was it's a cool name, 450 pounds, had a mohawk, tattoos, wore a gangland-style jacket with a skull, looked like he came out of a 70s or 80s post-apocalyptic gang movie. Very cool gimmick.
Yeah, you guys wore the same jean jacket. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Mine had sleeves, though.
Taking on a much bigger man in Yokozuna.
Holy cow. Yokozuna, actually from Samoa, initially billed as being Japanese, carried the Japanese flag. They really played up the sumo gimmick, from the way he started a match kind of hunched over, to his finisher being a sumo splash, to the ladies giving him flowers at the beginning, throwing salt, the whole thing. Really played up the whole sumo thing. And I guess this was sort of legit because he was a sumo wrestler, I guess, at one point. first cousin, I believe, to Roman Reigns and that whole group of guys.
In match number 10, the superstar, Billy Graham.
This guy was so far ahead of his time. The next time you see Hulk Hogan tear his T-shirt off, you'll know where he got it. The next time you watch a Jesse Ventura match where he takes off 6 pairs of earrings and a feather boa, you'll know where he got all that. This guy was ahead of his time. I came across a picture of him recently, just reading about him. Freakish, like beyond Big Papa Pump freakish. The hills on his muscles had hills on the muscles. It wasn't all clean. Obviously, the guy is suffering now because of it. But the rhyming, the guy was everything. Combination of Muhammad Ali and Buddy Rogers and Gorgeous George, but he made it his own thing.
And he'll take on Sting.
Holy cow! Wow. Surfer dude Sting, right?
That's the one that I like, so I think that's the one we're going to stick with.
I agree. This guy, I was a fan of his when I was a kid. So were a lot of other kids. This guy sold merchandise for NWA and WCW. Very cool look, face painted, huge charisma, maybe a little limited moveset, but could work a match, with the right opponent. I'll watch any of his matches with Ric Flair from 1988 or, maybe even 1998. His matches with Luger, his matches with Muta. Very charismatic guy. Big fan of Sting. I don't know who gets my vote, but I'm a big fan of Sting.
Yeah, and your vote will change 6 times. We can say who you're going to vote for right now, but the day of, when I look at it and you just change, like if we would run it down after this off air and we're like, okay, this, and this, you're going to twist it later on because it all depends on how you feel that day all the time.
When the moment of truth arrives, none of us know what we'll do.
Wow, look at you.
Profound. I know.
In match number 11, one of the hottest things going into WWE today till he was buried, Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt in an era with limited true gimmicks where everybody's too cool for school. This guy took something that's really old school, a little Jake Roberts, a little Undertaker, a little Mankind. And he has made it really, really cool. His promos are very cerebral. And the work he does reminds me of Mankind, where he enjoys the punishment, then kind of snaps out and gives it back. It's got the potential, like a lot of these guys, to be really hokey, but in the hands of this genius, it's brilliant.
And he's going to be taking on Jesse the Body Ventura.
We talked about Jesse just a little bit when we mentioned superstar Billy Graham and Hulk Hogan. Jesse Ventura, cool dude, feather boa, earrings. I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of at a loss here because Bray Wyatt is hard to follow. I don't see Jesse getting out of round 1.
In match number 12, we have Ravishing Rick Rude.
He used to kiss all the ladies. His finishing move is the Rude Awakening. His kiss was called the Rude Awakening. Legitimate tough guy. Not a whole lot behind the gimmick. Just a robe, a porno stash and hairdo. But he played it to the nth degree. Interesting situation. He didn't want to be with Bobby Heenan. And you know what a huge Bobby Heenan fan I am. Bobby Heenan was better served with guys, all the other guys, Harley Race, Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy, who didn't really talk for themselves. Rude didn't need anybody.
No, he didn't. He actually became the spokesman.
He did his own thing.
Yeah. He became the spokesman later on for the NWO or so on, so many other people. So, yeah. He's going to be taking on $1 Million Man.
Holy cow. Man, is that tough. 2 huge heels from the late 80s, early 90s. The $1 Million Man, rumor has it, was originally supposed to be Tully Blanchard. I don't think he'd have done the job Ted DiBiase did with this. Villainous, thought he could buy anything, bought championship belts, the $1 million belt, the world championship belt, kicked basketballs away from kids when they got to 9 dribbles. Terrible human being. Terrible human being.
In match number 13, The Undertaker.
Not my favorite, but my pick to win it all because the guy was given like a zombie character and originally paired with Brother Love, which is kind of dumb if you ask me. Debuted at Survivor Series 1990. And we all knew it was Mean Mark. One look at him and we knew it was Mean Mark. Originally introduced as Kane the Undertaker. We found out later he chose his brother's name because he believed him to be dead. And we all know that that wasn't true. Kane was very much alive. But anyway, here we are 30 years later, and we're still talking about The Undertaker.
This was going to be my final. If they ended up on the same bracket, I thought, I don't know what the hell is going to happen. But nonetheless, it is the first match. He'll be taking on Stone Cold.
Holy mother of Moses.
Yeah.
Wow. These guys had some battles. This had they been at opposite ends, this very well could have been the final match, kind of what you just alluded to. I don't even know. I don't know who gets my vote, but Stone Cold, what can you say? He changed the game. He took things, we mentioned Hulk Hogan earlier, he took things from Hulk Hogan into a completely different direction where instead of, hey, kids, do the right thing, it was, hey, kids,
F off.
F off, punch your boss in the nuts, and sprayed beer in the ring and routinely beat the crap out of his boss. This is going to be tough, man. These guys wrestled, and I might as well share it. It just occurred to me. These guys wrestled the night Owen Hart died, actually, which is sad. They've wrestled many, many other times, and it was never a bad match between these guys. That's going to be tough. That will probably be the most voted match and the hardest match to pick a winner.
Yeah, and I'll allude to something from many episodes ago. I don't have anybody to break the tie because my mom was always there. Hey, pick somebody, right?
Yeah.
She was always a tiebreaker.
Yeah. Yep.
So we'll have to use. Maybe your mom can get on Facebook and break the tie for us.
Yeah, maybe.
Her or Aunt Josephine, right?
Aunt Josephine, yeah. You know what? Aunt Josephine has. When it came down to the Shield against the NWO, the Shield narrowly won. My wife was like, look, the Shield means everything to my son. My husband loves the NWO. Please vote. And I had relatives from Italy voting for the Shield just because of my son.
Yeah, which is awesome. Matchup number 14 is where we're at, and it's Mankind.
Mankind. We struggled with Mankind or Cactus Jack. By the way, guys, you probably figured it out by now. Yeah, I like both too. Mark was saying like, oh, English professor, why are you calling me? Clearly he's got the name in his hat. Mark, I don't mean to blow the storyline.
You're bringing down the wall.
Sorry. Yeah. Mankind, I think, was once again taking something that was already cool like Cactus Jack and taking it to another level. This guy caused himself pain because he felt he deserved it. Just a psychotic character, but a sympathetic character until he puts the mandible claw on Jim Ross or some other guy for no reason and then feels badly about it. Mick Foley did an incredible job with this character. And then he evolved from there. I guess, started to not take life so seriously, or maybe it was therapy for him. He carried around a sock, tried to be happier about things in life. Brilliant guy. Mick Foley's brilliant.
He's going to be taking on the Ultimate Warrior.
Damn. The Ultimate Warrior, again, limited skill set, maybe like Sting, but no doubt he made crowds erupt. As soon as the music hit, as soon as he ran to the ring, he got crowds excited. Also, who's who of opponents, squashed them all. Ultimate Warrior is very, very charismatic. I don't see him getting out of this match, though.
Speaking of music, every time you heard the bagpipes, Roddy Piper.
Yeah, Roddy Piper. He had an idea to have his pipe band accompany him to the ring in his very first match against Larry the Axe Hennig. Got his ass whipped in a matter of like 15 seconds. The story goes that the ring announcer forgot his last name or didn't have it written down, saw the pipe band and just went with Roddy the Piper. And then he just dropped the and became Roddy Piper. But forever the foil to Hulk Hogan's hero in the 80s. Movie star, Roddy Piper was amazing, man.
And he's going to be taking on somebody that's just strictly business, Nick Aldis.
Oh, wow. Nick Aldis, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. We talk about gimmicks. Maybe we think we know something about the personal lives of a lot of these wrestlers. I don't know a whole lot about Nick Aldis' personal life, but what I see of him in the wrestling business, you borrow from the greats and you make it your own. And that's what he's done. He wears sharp suits. He is billed as sort of a wrestling machine. Again, did he maybe borrow a little bit from Ric Flair and guys like that? Perhaps. He surrounds himself with 3 guys and a beautiful woman. So there's that. This guy is very good. This guy's in the ring, on the mic. And he's currently the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Again, guys, now's an opportunity to really catch up on NWA wrestling until they get up and going again. I think you'll enjoy it. If you're as much of a fan of the old school as we are, it's in that style, updated just a little bit.
And final match, it will be the Macho Man.
2-time Can Crushers champion.
Nothing else to say.
And we could go on and on about the Macho Man. What else can you say about the Macho Man?
Taking on Mr. Perfect.
Damn. Holy cow. Kurt Hennig shows up in the WWF. He's just Kurt Hennig for a while. You can find some episodes of Primetime Wrestling, right? Remember, he was just Kurt Hennig. Villain, didn't know much about him. They're trying to find a name for him, and the story goes, Vince McMahon asks him, what do you do well? And he said, I'm good at everything. And he kind of was sort of a hybrid athlete. There's this idea that he could have done anything he wanted in athletics. So became Mr. Perfect. Cocky, arrogant heel. Go ahead, sorry.
No. All right, so the matchups are made. We have Stone Cold against The Undertaker right off the bat. That's my final, so throw that out the window. The matchups are unbelievable, which can happen once you're looking at this bracket. I know with everything, who you have to pick somebody right now. Who are you really pulling for?
All right, so who am I pulling for? Razor Ramon. He's probably my favorite in the tournament. Who do I think will win? I will narrow it down to whoever comes out of that first match, Stone Cold and The Undertaker. I say Undertaker comes out of that match. All right. And the Macho Man. The Macho Man's a 2-time champion. Always goes deep in these tournaments. I'm saying either Undertaker or Macho Man.
But you're pulling for Razor. I'm pulling for question mark.
I'm pulling for Razor.
I'm pulling for question mark because what? Why? It's now.
Such a mark.
It's about the now, John. But
right.
Who do I really see? I'm looking at the bracket, and I can't but not think Stone Cold's got a leg up on everybody. I know against The Undertaker it's going to be tough, but we're Can Crushers. We drink beer. That's what our people like. He drinks beer. He just came back for 316. Yeah. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to beat Stone Cold.
I agree. Yeah, I think whoever comes out of that first match goes all the way to the finals. What a tournament. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be fun. The matchups are crazy, and I know there's not a lot going on, but I'll give you a couple seconds if you want to spurt some of your wisdom out.
Sure, thanks. I appreciate it. You know, watching, you guys are going to call me a liar saying I promised I wasn't going to watch. Peeking in on some of WWE's programming, I like some of what they're doing with all things considered, this virus that's out there. Mark, you said it kind of hit you in the feels when Triple H talked to all of us. And that's true. And in front of an empty arena, before an empty arena, what can you expect them to do? So they haven't done a whole lot. They're giving us pay-per-view matches for free. And that's about all I expected. But once again, here comes AEW. Gutsy television. Forwarding storylines. You need that crowd when you show us a new wrestler that just jumped ship. They're doing it in front of an empty crowd. That's gutsy. They're putting their wrestlers out there. They've got MJF making bets with Jim Ross or Tony Schiavone, asking him if he wants to get in on this match. It's so much fun. They haven't stopped. They haven't stopped. Even when you think they would or they should, they haven't. They have found a way to make it work. Quick story. Dustin gave that speech at the beginning. And just to show you how much my daughter cares about wrestling, which is hardly anything now. There was that brief moment she came with us, was a joy in IWC. She became good friends with the fraternity and with Britt Baker. She was an old girl. She's kind of over it now, right? She's a teenager. And I told you this is horribly offensive. I was going down the list of potential vice presidential candidates. And I'm reading them off. My wife is sitting next to me. I'm reading them off. And then I said, the Ugandan headhunter, Kamala Harris. Mark, this is going to get you hate mail on this show. And my daughter, she's like, wait a minute. My daughter's like, wait a minute, what? And I said, nothing. She goes, that's not a very appropriate name for a vice presidential candidate. And I said, AJ, that's not her name. Her name is Kamala, but there was a wrestler named Kamala, and he was a Ugandan headhunter, and he painted his face and carried a spear. And she goes, oh, my God, that's terrible. It is terrible.
That's why he's in the tournament.
That's why he's in the tournament. I'm getting off subject here. But to show you, she cares nothing or knows nothing really about wrestling anymore. She looked up from her book and said, wow, this is a really amazing speech. And that's the thing, is like, WWE appealed to the wrestling fan. Dustin Rhodes appealed to anybody who was within earshot. I'm sorry, Cody appealed to anybody who was within earshot. That was a powerful intro. He brought out the other guys. What's his name?
Matt Hardy.
No, well, he was there for the speech in the beginning. Omega. Good worker. At this point, the guy needs to never have a microphone in his hand. Sorry.
He sounds like the Rated X Can Crusher.
He does. I talked to him this morning, by the way. Anyway.
All right, we're getting off subject. John, I'm excited that this is going to start Monday, 9 o'clock in the morning. Every day after 9 o'clock in the morning you'll get a whole day to vote. You know, it'll end at 8:59 on Tuesday, 9 o'clock. Another one will start, and we'll just run through this gamut of who you guys feel, out of these 32 people, who the coolest wrestling gimmick is. This is great.
That's right. And when fans ask, do we vote on who we think would win the match, who would win a real-life fight, who the coolest gimmick was, who our favorite wrestler is, the answer is always yes.
And guys, we'll say this again, just pick the pitcher. You can comment as well, but your vote does not count unless you pick the pitcher. That's it. I'm a minor. I can't figure it out. So the percentage is given to me who wins.
Just tap the picture of whom you want to win. That's all you have to do.
All right, John, once again, this is a great setup for another great tournament, and I can't wait to rock and roll Monday. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Hey, everybody, this is the Imagine Wrestling champion, Spencer Slade, and you're listening to the Can Crushers podcast, the best professional wrestling podcast out there. And I've got 3 words for ya. Fear the gear.
All right, Chad, what do you think about the tournament, the coolest gimmick tournament that we have going on?
I like it. It's, it brings back a lot of memories, and, you're looking at these guys and like, oh, okay, some of them that have been out of the limelight and that. I'm looking at the bracket now. There's going to be some big names taken out
in the
first round.
Well, look at the one that John and I kind of showcased a little bit as it's Stone Cold against The Undertaker, and this is what I thought was going to be my finals. They both have a following, and they're meeting in the first freaking round. That's the way we do tournaments. Hat picks the game.
There's the one that I'm interested in. I think it's going to be a walkaway. I think it's going to be a 99% to 1% thrashing. I think Al Snow's going to kick Jake Roberts' ass.
I hope so. Al Snow running amok. He's got a tough side of the bracket, though. On the other side, my pick, hopefully, with my heart, is the question mark. With my head, I'm not sure, but with my heart, I'm a mark, so I'm going with the question mark from that side.
Yeah, that's actually a tough side. There's some really good ones. I'm thinking my pick from that side is going to be Rick Rude.
Wow, that's huge. So again, guys, this tournament starts tomorrow, Monday the 23rd, 9 o'clock on Facebook. All you have to do is pick the picture, and hopefully we have more names in the hat as we always do, because I don't like ties. So if a tie happens, somebody's stepping in. Both are eliminated and somebody's stepping in. Nobody's getting a bye in this. This bye bullshit is for the birds. You have to win your way to this damn thing.
That's a good way to do it. That way John's, plants in here that he thinks is going to win.
Exactly.
He's not going to skank through with 49.9% and 50.1% win.
Through.
Well,
think about that.
Skank through, slide through,
Okay. All right. Let's release our next big announcement, and it's going to take place next week on the show. And we've been talking about this. We've come to terms that, holy hell, with wrestling kind of being on a timeout, we can still cover 5-10 minutes of what goes on. But for the most part, next week, and you brought this one up to both of us, so go ahead, have your due. Here we go. Pat himself on the back. That's twice today. He's not going to be on the show next week if he keeps doing this shit. Go ahead.
We're going to review older pay-per-views, and we're all going to agree on the pay-per-view and give our, what do you call it? Assessment, yes, of, what we thought of the pay-per-view from everything, just like a pay-per-view from nowadays. Match quality, review probably all the matches. Yeah, we'll review all of the matches, obviously lending more time towards the main event matches.
Ones.
Any underlying stories from back then, things like that. I think this is going to be a fun one because this is when we were really fans. We were young, and this is the waiting on Wednesdays at the newsstand up on Main Street for the magazines that come in.
I love the newsstand.
This is when we were fans, and this is when we looked at things as fans. Now,
because we weren't out there telling everybody about it. Yeah. The social media was not there.
It didn't exist. But I'm looking forward to this, and the one that I picked, or the one that I thought I just threw out there. I watched this week again.
And you'll watch it again.
And I'll watch it again, for the purpose of the program. But just the looking back, some of the stuff that they did and
the match.
It's
Just
awesome.
tell them which one it is. We're gonna tell. We have to. This way, if they want to watch it, either listening to the show with us or watch it and then see what we have. It is Starrcade 85: The Gathering.
Yes.
And this has Dusty Flair. It has Magnum Tully's I Quit match. You had the whole lineup of other matches.
I was remembering all the matches, and this is the
Rock and Roll Express against Koloffs
in a steel cage, and this is Nikita. This match takes place after the Rock and Roll Express had first won the tag titles from Ivan Koloff and Crusher Khrushchev and had lost them back to the Russians.
Yeah.
This was like the blow-off match of their series.
Yeah. Because next up for the Rock and Roll Express is Midnight Express.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you got classics like, and I say this was a classic, Manny Fernandez and Abdullah the Butcher.
That we've had Manny on the show, and he actually talks about this match. If you go back and listen to that,
there's just
podcast.
a lot of good matches. There's some funny matches that you're like, what in the hell were they thinking? But I don't want to get into it anymore because then we're going to start talking how we feel about it.
Yeah. So next week, the three of us, it'll be one long show. We'll get Collar and Elbow in there somehow, but it will be us literally touching on what happened in wrestling, unless there's a huge story. Touching on what goes on, and then the meat of our podcast next will be about Starrcade 85: The Gathering. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Other than that, that's about... You're going to go home and play baseball again. Wrap this all back up. You're going to go home and play baseball. Mine's been on pause now for a while.
Yep. Just a couple of things that... loose end things. This may be a positive here. Definitely a positive. New Japan Pro Wrestling is starting to have events with fans again. So that's good news, especially considering that I know the virus originated in China and that, but I know New Japan was affected quite a bit. They're starting to let have events with fans again. And on a sad note, on a seriously sad note on this one, yesterday we lost country legend Kenny Rogers.
We did.
This was a guy that I grew up listening to. At first, I didn't appreciate, the music. It was something that my mom listened to, and I know your mom did too. This was truly a music legend, a music icon. He was doing shows up until last year. Still sounded good. So many wrestlers used a lot of his music in that for entrances and that. This is truly a loss for the music business, but Kenny's in a better place now. He's healthy again, and we're gonna miss him.
On that note, real quick, what was your favorite Kenny Rogers song?
You'll laugh at this, but Islands in the Stream with Dolly Parton was my favorite one.
That is second. Probably, you like The Gambler. No, The Gambler's great. Mine's Coward of the County. There's something about that song that just resonates. Me physically, that, I don't get into fights, I don't do that, but when it comes down to it, if I have to protect my family or something,
I would say another one. I'll say my second is She Believes in Me.
Oh, nice.
And that just reminds you, when you find a good woman, and it could even flip it, a good significant other, and they support you through whatever you do. Decisions and everything, and you stick together and everything like that. Really good song. And, like I said, this is a tremendous loss for the country music scene. And he's going to be sorely missed.
Guys, on that note, I want to bring it back up. We still got I'm going to say a couple weeks probably of roughness around the corner for us. So I want you to support all indie wrestling, and two that we continue to promote here and there all the time. Here and there is not the right word I wanted. All the time we promote them. IWC has a network out there. It's IWC Network, IWCWrestling.com. Sign up for their network. It's $9.99 a month. OVW right now is giving out a free 2-week trial for their network, and then theirs is $4.99 a month. High Spots network itself has, I don't know, I'm going to say 1 million, but they have a ton of wrestling on there. That's $9.99 a month. And if you're not going to buy a network, buy a shirt. Reach out. Pro Wrestling Tees have them. Collar and Elbow, again, because we don't want to forget about Collar and Elbow. Or just reach out to Ray Lynn, Amber Nova, Jack
Pro
Pollock.
Wrestling Tees.
Yeah, all those guys have something. Anybody in your area, I name them because we're talking all the time. Support those guys. They are, Ray Lynn's a beautician on the side. Well, guess what? She can't do that, and she can't wrestle now. So she's got no income. Buy a shirt. That little bit that she's going to get from the shirt is possibly going to be your next meal. I hate to say it like that, but that's where we are right now. You need to go out and buy stuff from these guys, anything.
Along with that, supporting Elijah Dean does not mean going out and hoarding toilet paper.
Yeah. Well, unless you're going to start building your toilet paper sculpture.
Yes. Yeah. But that's not the support we're looking for here. Go on seriously. Go help these people out. One other one, I don't know if you were aware of, New Japan Pro Wrestling is putting free stuff out on their website. Wrestle Kingdom Day 1 was the big one that comes to mind. Hey, guys, go and look at these guys.
Yeah.
Go and look at this. You want to see good wrestling? Go and look at them.
So, guys, just support as we're trying to do our best, bringing all these guys on a spotlight. And again, you guys heard that NWA official Jared Fritz will be on the spotlight this coming Wednesday, and man, we're excited.
Yeah, I'm pumped for this one. I want to see a different perspective. Talk to a referee.
All right, Chad, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can.
Not a garbage cannot.